Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope everything is fine with you. I am your teacher Saima Tanoli with the 5th lecture for civics, and today we will be doing chapter number 2. In that we were doing civics, the basic concerns, in which we have studied the family types, functions of the family, individual and community. Today we will be studying individual, nation and nationality. This is in your book on page number 21. Now what is this nation? Or we can say nationality, which comes after this nation. Nationality is the earliest form of political association. Nationality is a population held together, observes Lord Bryce, by certain ties, as for example language and literature, ideas, customs and traditions, in such a way as to feel itself a coherent unity distinct from other populations similarly held together by like ties of their own. So what is nationality? That is when people are joined together and they are sharing certain things common. That is the language, first of all, the most important thing, and then with the language comes literature, their ideas, their customs and traditions and different behavior, and when they are living together in a coherent unity, that is they are stick together and they form a population, and that makes a nation. According to Lord Bryce, a nation is nationality. आपकी जो कौम है उसकी एक कौमियत है, which has organized itself into a political body, either independent or desiring to be independent. That is, again a nation becomes a nationality when the people are organized together in a political body, and either it should be dependent or independent. It is not like the state that it will be having those four elements like we have population, territory, government and sovereignty, but in a nation we need to have a group of people who are living together, sharing the common language, literature, religion, customs, rituals, behavior and everything, and they also do need a place to or a territory where they will be residing or they will be living, but at the same time they don't need to have a independent or dependent government or any kind of body that should be on them. They might be independent or they might be dependent. Now coming to the word nation. Nation is derived from a Latin word, and nation is the earliest form of political association. When we talk about nation, we come to the political aspect of the individual or the human. As in this topic we are dealing with the individual, nation and nationality, जिसमें आपका फ़र्द है, कौम है और कौमियत है. So nation is the earliest form of political association. जब सियासी तौर पे हम इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं, we are bound together. This word nation is derived from a Latin word natio, meaning born, यानी पैदा होना, origin होना. So when a nation is united together and it emerges in the world, it is basically born. Thinkers like Burgess and Leacock defined nation as an ethnic unity. We can also say that in a nation we have a kind of a special ethnic group or people of same mentality or mind frame or ideologies, they live together, but that is not the case. Most of the time we have a group of people having different ethnic backgrounds and they might be living together. Parker is the most comprehensive and elaborate description. He says that the nation is a body of persons inhabiting a definite territory and thus united together by the primary fact of living together on a common land. So this is a nation, that a group of people inhabiting, that they are living or residing on a definite territory. Territory definite means that it has boundary and territorial demarcation, हदबंदी हुई है, एक ख़ास इलाका है, and thus these people are united together and their primary purpose of living together on a common land. This makes a nation. They are drawn from a number of races and they come from different breeds, but their wandering brought them into their territory and they settled down here. So that makes them a nation. When a group of people sharing common ideas, hopes and aspiration, they might be having different ethnic origins, but they will be sharing common language, common religion, then at that case they form this nation. While living together for a sufficiently long time, they develop two forms of mental sympathy. So when we have these two people of common ideas living together, they make two kinds of mental we can say forms. And the first is a common capital of thoughts and feelings, that is, they have a common language, they have a common capital, they have a common history, and we can also say common religion, traditions. And the second is the common will to live together for the future freely and independently, thus having common thoughts and feelings and thereby exercising their right of political self-determination. When the mark of a state is stamped on the territorial nation, अब किसी भी territorial nation जिसको एक इलाका मिला हुआ है और that nation is residing over there, at that time they will get this status of a national state. So territorial nation ultimately becomes a national state. Elements of nationhood. अब इस nationhood के बनने के लिए what do we need? What kind of factors are responsible for this making of this nationhood? As we have discussed earlier, the sentiments of nationhood is a combination of the two apparently contradictory senses or feelings, that is, a feeling of oneness or coherence amongst themselves make them to think we are on, coupled with this is another sentiment which says we are one, but we are separate and distinct from the rest of mankind. We are not one with them. As we have this definition, very famous political thinker Lasky, he gives a very elaborate and very meaningful definition of this nation, that it marks off those who share in it from the rest of the mankind. When we are a nation, we will be considering ourselves as one community which separates us and distincts us from the rest of the mankind. आपकी एक अपनी पहचान बनती है और आप बाकी mankind से, बाकी लोगों से ख़ुद को मुनफरिद और अलहदा तस्वर करते हैं. Now what will be the elements responsible for creating this sense of national unity? First of all, that is the race. It is the most important bond of unity, but in the modern age, bond of ethnic unity is no longer a compulsory element of nationhood. As I have told you, that it doesn't matter from which kind of ethnic group you belong to, but if you are having a common ideology, common religion, common language and common ideas, you will be making a nation of your own. Most of the nations in the modern world belong to mixed racial stocks. That means that they have different ethnic groups, but they will be common, they will be together as a nation, as they will be having common thoughts and ideas. Second is language. आपकी ज़बान. इंसान ने सबसे पहले जब एक दूसरे से कम्युनिकेट किया था, in the primitive times, that was also through the sign language. But with the passage of time, person or human started making words and started talking in a language to each other. Language is the medium through which human beings express themselves. Their thoughts, ideas, and feelings are shared, and a fruitful and productive interaction takes place. Muir has rightly observed that nothing that will give you unity to divergent races as the use of common tongue, and in very many cases unity of language and community of ideas which brings its have proved the main binding force in a nation. आपकी जो language है, that is a binding force which cements you together, which helps you to interact with each other in a meaningful way. Language, Ernest Barker observe, is not mere words. सिर्फ अल्फाज ही नहीं है. Each word is charged with association that touch feelings and evoke thoughts. आपको feelings आप अपनी express कर सकते हैं through this language, and at the same time you can evoke or you can awake your thoughts. अपनी thoughts को आप कहीं से कहीं लेके जा सकते हैं, उसको आप अपने आप को प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं फॉर फ्यूचर चैलेंजेस एंड ऑल दोज थिंग्स. यू कैन नॉट शेयर their feelings and thoughts unless you can unlock their association by having the key of language. You cannot enter the heart nor the mind of a nation unless you know its speech. Conversely, once you have learned the speech, you find that with it and by it you imbibe. Imbibe means consume a liquid by soaking something. आप जैसे स्पंज से चीज़ों को सोक कर लेते हैं लिक्विड को, दैट इज़ थ्रू दीज वर्ड्स एंड थ्रू दीज स्पीचेस यू गेट अ इम्प्रेशन ऑफ सर्टन थिंग एंड देन दैट मेक्स योर लैंग्वेज. आपकी जो लैंग्वेज है, that is not only a means of communication or interacting with each other, but at the same time it gives you different kinds of sentiments, thoughts and ideas. Next is language. After language we have geography. But let me explain this language a bit more, that language is very important. When you will be having the common language or the common lingua franca in your country, that will be helpful in expressing your thoughts and your views about certain things, and only then it will be a kind of a binding force between the nation. As during this struggle movement of Pakistan, or we can say in the days of Pakistan movement, this Urdu language played a very significant role in achieving our targets and in mapping a way for this parting of the two nations. So that is the thing, that language plays a very dominant role in we can say arousing the sentiments and the feeling of the people. अल्फाज जो है वो बड़ी ताकत रखते हैं, और उससे बहुत कुछ किया भी जा सकता है और बहुत कुछ करवाया भी जा सकता है. So next topic, or we can say the third point, is geography. Now what is this geography? That is history bears evidence that people speaking different languages, belonging to different racial groups, observing different religious beliefs, turned into a strong national group by a mere chance that they were made to live side by side in one geographic unity for quite a long period of time. So that is we can say when people, they are residing in a common territorial area and a region, then even though they will be having different religions, the different ethnic groups or national groups or anything, but at the same time they will be considering themselves as a nation. American history serves the most striking example of a nationhood built upon the basis of geographical unity, disregarding almost other factors. Sir Ramsay Moore has rightly observed that the most clearly marked nations have commonly enjoyed a geographic unity and have often owed their nationhood in part to this fact. आप देखेंगे even if we talk about our college, suppose we are coming from different houses, or we are coming from different ethnic groups or anything of the sort, but still when we are in this boundary of our college, we consider ourselves as being Hollians. That gives us a common feeling, or we feeling. So that is geographical location, and wherever we are living in a specific boundary, that gives us a we feeling, no matter what kind of mentalities or psyches or ideologies we will be having. Explaining the reason, Dr. A.C. Kapoor observes people living in contiguous areas, as I have told you before, are the areas which are linked together, demarcated together, having close affinity with each other, have their own distinct habits, customs, traditions, culture, common experiences and interest. It develops national character of the people and affects their institutions. So when you will be living together in a common area, you will be considered as a nation or as a community. Next is the fourth element, that is religion. Very important. Religion has always been a cementing force which has served to join people into a national unity. All politics till a couple of centuries ago was based on religion. State was considered to be a religious institution. Its head, the king, was a divine incarnation, or at least enjoyed a divine right to rule. Disobedience to his commands was attended by divine punishment. In the ancient times, not very far away, but in the old medieval times, the Christians, they took this religion as a very sentimental and a very sensitive, we can say, tool for the state, as they considered that the state is a religious institution, and at the same time they considered this thing, that the king is only has a divine right, and whatever he will be saying, the people are bound to follow that, and in case if they are not following him, that will be considered as a very bad thing, and for that there will be a divine punishment. So religion was especially in Christianity and other religions, this was taken as a kind of a tool for the state. But when we talk about our Islamic state, it is neither theocratic nor secular, it is a democratic, based on divine guidance and popular will. A state that would maintain the highest standard of toleration, and a society preserving all humanitarian values and inspired by the most modern outlook that we believe in, that we generally in our democratic Islamic republics, we believe in the will and the wish of the people. Without their wish and will, we cannot be doing anything. At the same time, whosoever is the head of the state, we consider him as the interpreter of Allah, not more than that. Then next point, that is the fifth point, is history, one of the very important elements of nationhood. Common historical experience is also one of the essential elements of nationhood. Common historical heritage and memories of the past shared by a group of people create in them a feeling of oneness. Like Allama Iqbal said that history is the memory of a nation. So when the people will be sharing the common memories or the common past, they will be linked together, they will be bounded together. Emergence of Pakistani nationhood in Southeast Asia in the 20th century is an excellent example. People now called Pakistanis had many cultural, ethnic and linguistic आपकी languages से related, but they joined hands in the struggle for independence against the British imperialism, as well as the imminent danger of Hindu hegemony, that is Hindu leadership. This historical experience played an important role in the making of Pakistani nation. So this history again played a very significant role in the creation of Pakistan. Sixth point, community of interest. Now what that will be? Common economic interest and fear of being exterminated at the hands of a common enemy sometimes bound those people into a national unity who observes otherwise have no reason of being united. कोई और reason नहीं होगा unite होने का. Common interest plays a very important role in our life, and sometimes fear of a common enemy, जिसकी वजह से बहुत सारे नेशंस जो थे उन्होंने एक दूसरे के साथ अलायंस की, इल्हाक किया. फॉर एग्जांपल यूनियन ऑफ स्कॉटलैंड विद इंग्लैंड. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि जो इंग्लैंड है, इन दैट वी हैव इंग्लैंड, आयरलैंड, सो this state of Scotland also joined it, and then we have Hawaii's joining the USA. That was one of the two outstanding examples of this common interest. On the other hand, with the time and everything, we have different alliances like ECO, RCD, OIC, which bind people together, SAARC, and even this United Nations coming together for this purpose. That is, they will be solving many issues of the world, and they will be having common interest, and they will be a kind of safeguarding themselves against their enemies. Next is common government. Now what is that? It has two aspects, positive and negative. That is, common government, living under the authority of one government for a considerably long period of time, creates a sense of unity and oneness in the people who were otherwise diverse and heterogeneous. Like we have this country of India having different ethnic groups and religions and people. That is a heterogeneous society, but living together under a common government and a common authority, they develop or adopt this habit of living together and becoming a nation. Common government affects nationality into two ways, one positive and the other is negative. When we talk about positive, when people diverse in character, that is different in character, live for a long time under the authority of one state, and the state is liberal and tolerant towards all her members, and interaction takes place, and with the passage of time they adopt a habit of ignoring their differences and joining hands for achieving common objectives. In third or fourth generation, their children lose all their prejudices and become one nation. Prejudices, what are they? That are preconcerned opinions which is not based on रीजनिंग. ऐसी बातें जो बस हम सोच लेते हैं और उसमें कोई रीजनिंग और रैशनैलिटी और सोच और फहम नहीं होती, अकल और फहम नहीं होती. सो विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम, व्हेन positive point of this common government is that this group of people, when they will be living together for a longer period of time, and when the time of their third and fourth generation will be coming, they will forget about any kind of differences they had. So that makes them a nation. Next negative point when we talk about it is a people, howsoever heterogeneous in their outlook and sentiment are your feelings, develop national feelings of oneness if they live for long under same government. This process of unity is accelerated if the government is alien. People become unified in order to get rid of the foreign domination. Foreign government direct all its administrative machinery to the exclusive advantage of its nationals and consequently creates two hostile classes, rulers and the ruled. Misgovernment is thus a prolific source of nationalism. That is, there should be a strong government that will be ruling these people. Otherwise, negative viewpoint about the government and the one who are being ruled will be coming or will be emerging. So, this is all for today. Inshallah, in my next lecture, we will be doing individual and the state. Go through this lecture, note down the important points, note down the meanings I have told you, and at the same time learn the definitions, as these definitions will be coming in your short question answers. They are important. Keep on learning things other than making a register and all those, because learning is very important. You should not leave things for tomorrow, otherwise it will be very difficult to learn in the end. So thank you very much for today.